Duck Dynasty controversy just got hotter. The family's patriarch might not be the only one leaving the most watched cable reality show. TMZ executive producer Harvey Levin joins us with the very latest. Harvey, nice to see you. And is the family going to stick it out with A&E and stay on the show, or what?
Well, I will tell you that the family has drawn a line in the sand and said if Phil's not there, they're not there. We are actually, I haven't even put this up on our website yet, but I will tell you, Greta, that I am told that things did not go well, at least so far, in terms of the negotiations. And there is a real chance that this show will not go back into production again. They've finished season 4, but beyond season 4, there is a real chance the show is going to be over with, which is shocking because it's really the biggest reality show ever in television and a huge cash cow for A&E. So it is pretty shocking that this could come to an end, although that hasn't happened.
All right, why can't, I mean, who owns the production? I mean, are they have a contract so that that they can't just, that the family can't just pick up and move to another network?
Yeah, actually, good question. I was told by somebody connected with all of this today that they would have to sit it out for a period of time if they decide not to do the A&E show. So they can't just pick up and immediately go somewhere else. And remember that this show has still got another season in the can, season 4, and that will certainly have to run its course before they can do anything. But they do have a contract and would have to sit out.
Who's the tougher one in the negotiations, the family or A&E?
That's a good question. They're at loggerheads. I mean, look, this is a situation where A&E, and we're going to put this up on the website tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be a little bit obtuse here, but A&E had certain pressures that it felt, and one of the pressures was from GLAAD, and they were saying, you can't keep somebody on this show who says things like that. And on the other side, you've got them saying, you knew what you were getting. He was an open book. I mean, he had said these things years before he joined the show and was even videotaped in sermons saying it. So how can you basically fire somebody by, for saying things that you knew he felt and allowed him to do an interview with GQ? So you've got these two sides looking at this completely differently.
You know, Harvey, I follow you on Twitter and TMZ, who doesn't? But one of your tweets was this. It says, I'm gay and I don't agree with Phil, but he has a right to his beliefs. It's not hate-based. It's religious, misdirected, but his right. That's your tweet.
I mean, that's what I wrote, and that's what I feel. I mean, this country was founded on freedom of religion. I mean, that's one of the reasons we broke from England. And it just seems to me that you have to tolerate things, even things that are abhorrent, as long as they're not hurting other people. And, I almost laugh at how many people I've met over my lifetime who have radically different interpretations of the Bible. Well, he has his, and I don't agree with his, and I don't agree with what he believes. But at the same time, you have to tolerate other people having, I mean, the irony here is you've got groups like GLAAD saying, we are pushing tolerance. You've got to accept us because, just because we're different doesn't mean that you shouldn't embrace us. Well, you can make the same argument about this guy. And if you're going to accept tolerance on one side, you got to accept it on the other. And it just seems to me, as long as he's not hurting me or other people and he's not propagating, doing bad things to people, I don't see how you can punish him for how he feels. Harvey, especially when you knew how he felt going in.
Yeah. Harvey, how much money is involved here in this show? Do you have any idea? And how the ratings are?
Greta, huge ratings. Enormous ratings. They are making tens of millions of dollars. I've heard, over time, hundreds of millions of dollars on this show. This is honestly the biggest reality show ever in television. It's a huge show. It's an industry. And if you look at what's happened, here's one of the ironies, Greta, that next week, they are running, after they've suspended this guy indefinitely, they are running Duck Dynasty marathons beginning the 22nd of December, almost all the way through to the new year. And I'm not talking a marathon of 3 or 4 hours. I'm talking 7, 8, 9 hours of this show. It's wall-to-wall Duck Dynasty when the guy who's starring in the show that they're running in the marathon isn't on the show anymore, at least for now, because they don't like what he said. It's pretty ironic.
Harvey Levin, my old friend from L.A. and TMZ, where we'll see all the latest this weekend. We'll go to TMZ.com. Harvey, always nice to see you.
Great seeing you, Greta.
And a reality show controversy exploding into a national debate about our freedoms. Former Senator Rick Santorum joins us. Good evening, sir.
Hey, Greta.
Well, you've seen this debate before, but I'm curious your thought tonight.
Well, I appreciate what Harvey just had to say. The fact of the matter is he's right. This country was founded on freedom of religion, and what we see from the folks from GLAAD is doing exactly what they preach against. They preach against intolerance, and they are, in fact, the leading intolerant organization out there when it comes to anybody who disagrees with their point of view. What Phil Robertson did that was so offensive to them was simply quote the Bible. And he did actually a pretty accurate job of quoting the Bible, 1 Corinthians, and for him to be persecuted as he is for his religious beliefs and for quoting those religious beliefs and for stating them very explicitly, which he does repeatedly on the show, by the way, is pure intolerance. And here's the point, Greta, is that people, particularly GLAAD and folks who disagree with them and what I would consider the radical LGBT movement, those folks see anybody who disagrees with them as simply a hater and a bigot, when in fact they are the ones who are being the intolerant ones.
You know, Senator Santorum, one of the things is, and they even say this in the December 19th statement from the family, they say his beliefs are grounded in the teachings of the Bible, but what the family does say, and I think which has created some consternation for many, is this: well, some of Phil's unfiltered comments to the reporter were coarse. I mean, it's where you can have a difference of opinion, you can have an interpretation of the Bible, and I think so the unfiltered comments that were coarse, I think, were probably particularly painful to people.
No, look, I wouldn't have certainly said it the way he said it. That's for darn sure. And but let's be honest, that's what is getting people to line up to watch this show, because they are a little different and they say things very differently. They're unique and eccentric in many ways, and it is what is selling this program. And so for A&E or for GLAAD or anyone else not to expect this type of direct and sometimes coarse language, it is, let's put it this way, there are folks that GLAAD, there's someone that GLAAD gave their Person of the Year award, I think, or some of the highest honors, who uses language that would make Phil's language look like a Disney show. The bottom line is that it has nothing to do with the coarseness of their language. I can tell you, as someone who's been the victim of a lot of vile and coarse language from GLAAD and their proponents, it is not the coarse language is the problem. The problem is they don't tolerate someone who doesn't share their point of view. We
only have 30 seconds left. Are you surprised that this debate is gripping everybody so? Because everybody literally is talking about this.
Yeah, I think people have had enough, Greta. I mean, I think it's one thing to say, we need to be tolerant of folks and we need to let people live the way they want to live. And that's not what's going on here. We're being forced to accept their point of view. And if you don't, you are absolutely put out there on the margins, and you're being told you're a hater, you're a bigot, and you have no place on television. What he did was crude and coarse, no doubt about it. But what they really object to was the fact that he quoted scripture, and they didn't like that, and that's what they're really objecting to. And unfortunately, we have an opportunity here to fight back for people of faith being able to enunciate that in the public square.
And of course, it all comes down to a discussion about the First Amendment, which has always created lots of debate. Anyway, Senator, thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you, Greta.